Hey guys, this is Parshvama and I'm back with a video, and today I'm going to teach you how to play 4 knights game Rubinstein variation. So let's get started. So the opening starts with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, knight c3, knight f3. Now black and white both have developed their knights and kingside pawns, and now the fight for the center begins. White plays d4, threatening this d5 e5 pawn. So this e5 pawn is very weak. So the only option for black is to capture the pawn. Here white plays knight takes d4. Black must not play knight takes knight, as the queen will develop. The queen of the white will develop faster. So here black plays bishop b4, pinning the knight and threatening this pawn with the knight. Here the pawn has no support as the knight here is pinned, so white plays kind of a waiting move by capturing black's knight here. This is attacking the queen also. Now if you're playing from black, I must tell you this important thing, that not to capture, just not to capture this knight with d6 pawn, as if you do that, uh, a queen exchange will be there and your castle will be break. The best option here is to capture the knight with the b7 pawn. After the capturing of knight, white plays bishop d3, giving support to this pawn. Black now plays d5. Now black is threatening this pawn, which is weak. So white only has one option, that is e takes d5. Now also black here has two options. Black can capture this with the knight, or he can capture this with the pawn. The capturing of the pawn is better because the uh, double pawn will be cured here, and a big threat of d4 is coming. Whereas it does not happen when you capture the pawn with the knight. So the better option is this. Now white now also has two options, that are castling or bishop to d2. Castling is better, as here the development is also taking place, and when black plays d4, we can play a3. After playing a3, if black captures the knight, we can capture the bishop, and if black captures this pawn, which is not really a good move, we can capture his pawn back. Now the bishop has the long diagonal, and the white's position is much better than black. If white here plays bishop to d2, it will not be a good move, because after d4, white will have to play knight to e2, where the threat of the pawn is coming, but the bishop exchange will also take place. So the good move here is to castle, and if black does think of the d4, that is not actually very good for him, he must play castling. After castling, white plays bishop to g5, pinning this knight and creating a threat on this pawn. Black now also here has two options. He can simply capture this knight, avoiding the capturing of the pawn, or he can just give the support to the pawn. The giving support to the pawn is a good move, because when we capture the knight, and this takes. Now the next move for white can be c4, which and eventually the pawn will be needing support. So c6 here is a good move. So now I'm going to tell you a trap from white side on the 4 knights game Rubinstein variation, which is really beneficial for white. So after black castles, we will play rook to e1, which is a normal development move from the white side. So black plays d4, taking advantage of the pin here. So white is forced to play knight to e4. This also centralized the knight here on e4 square. But many of you may be thinking that the rook e1 was bad move because black can now capture the rook. Actually, the capturing of rook is a big blunder. I'll show you how. After black captures a rook, we can capture the knight, and as you can see, it is a check. So black here has two options. He can move his king to h8 or capture the knight. If black captures the knight, we can play our queen to h5. And now there is a big threat on the h7 square here, and it is also mate in 1. So to defend the mate, black can play rook to e8. And now we'll still play queen to h7. And black has now only one option, that is king f8. So now the structure we want is this bishop on g5 square should be on f6, controlling these two diagonals, and the queen should not be hit. So how to get that structure? We'll move our light square bishop to c4, creating a big threat on the f7 pawn and also mating the black king. So black here has two options. He can move his bishop to e6 or move his queen to d7. If black moves his queen to d7, we can simply capture this pawn, and this is the structure we wanted. Now it's mate in 1 here. So what if black moves his bishop to e6? If black moves his bishop to e6, we can simply play queen h8. Now it is a check, and black has only one option, that is king to e7. Now after king to e7, we'll capture this pawn, and now king has to move to d7. Now after king moving to d7, white must capture this bishop, and now black again has two options. Black can capture this bishop with the rook, or black can capture it with the pawn. If black captures it with the rook, we can simply capture this pawn, and after defending the check with the rook, we can capture the rook here. Queen takes queen, bishop takes queen, king takes bishop, and rook takes bishop. Now we can see that white is really strong than black in position also, and is 3 pawns up. So now what if black captures a bishop with the pawn? If black captures the bishop with the pawn, we can simply capture this pawn. Now you can see that this is a skewer here, and black moves the king to c7, and we can capture the queen. So let's look at the other option, where black does not capture the knight and move the king to h8. If black does that, we now also play the queen to h5, creating the threat on this pawn. Then black moves his pawn to h6. Now we can simply capture this pawn, and if black capture this bishop, then we can simply capture this with queen, and it's checkmate. But if black captures the knight, we should not capture the rook because the mate can be delayed. because now we can move the bishop at any square in this diagonal. Like we can move it on bishop to g5. Now it is a check, so black can move anywhere, g7 or g8. Like black moves to g7, it's mate. Or if black moves to g8, it's also mate. So hope you like the video. If you do, subscribe our channel, like the video and hit the bell icon to never miss an update. And if you have a doubt in 4 Knights game Rubinstein variation, do let me know in the comment section. I'll definitely clarify your doubts. Thanks.